all the families of the nations shall worship before him. For dominion belongs to the Lord, and he rules over the nations. To him indeed shall we all sleep in the earth bow down. Before him shall bow all who go down to the dust, and I shall look for him. Prosperity will serve him. Future generations will be told about the Lord, and proclaim his deliverance to a people yet unborn, and saying that he has done it.
And before we advance the slides, this next slide is a video from The Chosen, depicting the story of Peter walking on water. But the context of this passage is that, well, a couple things. One, John the Baptist, they just got news that he had died. They were all very close to John and had a huge respect for him. So that news hit pretty hard. They heard this in Matthew's Gospel as they were in the Decapolis. That's the area up north across the Sea of Galilee. It's an area of 10 Greek cities, Decapolis. And Jesus was preaching there, and he he fed 5,000 people. So there's a lot of emotions, a lot going on. And after that event, Jesus tells them to get in the boat and sail across the lake, and he will catch up with them later. Now in The Chosen, they have Peter going through something very difficult personally as well that kind of heightens this. exactly walking on water, but one of the bold steps I had to take was walking into a high school classroom to teach. My problem was speaking in front of people. I had tried it several times, and every single time it was the same situation. My voice quivered audibly. I would shake visibly. My face would turn bright red. I would sweat. It was just a mess. Now, you can't walk into a high school classroom in that way. So I knew that I had to overcome that. And I just took a breath and thought, okay, I know what competent teacher looks like, so I'm going to play that role until I can be that person. So I took a deep breath and went in and played that until I could be that. Sometimes we choose a path that requires us to take a bold step, and other times life can happen to us and we have to step up. I remember the night right after Devin was born. I was so tempted to push that call button to let the nurse come in and change his diaper and tend to him, but I knew, nope, I gotta do this. And after those first few days at home, when you start to kind of figure things out a little bit, I can chuckle now looking back on those first hours and days. That sometimes life doesn't wait for us to feel ready. Sometimes we just have to get on with it. Peter knew what that felt like. He had just witnessed Jesus perform a miracle and many others while they were there, but he had just seen Jesus feed 5,000 people with a couple loaves of bread and some fish. Then Jesus sent them on the boat while he prayed to catch up with them later. And of course, we saw the storm. It's one thing to read it, but it's another thing to see it. And I don't know how I would have handled being in a boat with that kind of storm. I think I might have been in the fetal position in the bottom of the boat, let alone ready to step out and walk on water. But can you imagine the courage it took to swing his legs over the edge and to step out onto those waves? And for a few steps, he actually did it. He actually walked on the water. He did something impossible. But then doubt came in, and it got the best of him. His fear caused him to sink. Peter saw the wind. I'm sure he felt it. He saw the waves. He felt the spray of water against him, and he looked away, took his eyes off of Jesus, and that was enough. The same Peter who had taken those bold steps of faith now began to sink. He cried out, "Lord, save me." And immediately Jesus reached down and pulled him out. The moment that Peter gave doubt more attention than his faith, his fear got the best of him. And that's the thing. Faith and doubt, they both coexisted in Peter before he even got into that boat. He was willing to step forward because he trusted the one calling to him. He didn't just leap into the water. He asked Jesus first, "Hey, can I do this?" And Jesus said, "Yeah, come to me, come do it." He wasn't sure, but he said if he had faith that if Jesus said it was possible, then he trusted Jesus and knew it would be possible. And isn't that what faith really is? Trusting in someone when we don't know if it can be true or possible. We often think of faith and doubt as opposites, as if having doubt means we don't have faith, but that's just not true. Doubt is not the opposite of faith. Do you know what is the opposite of faith? Any thoughts? Certainty. We like to think that faith means being absolutely sure, but that's not faith, is it? That's certainty, and certainty is dangerous. Why? Because certainty demands proof. It says, I will only believe if I have all the answers. Well, that's not belief, that's That's not faith. Faith says, I trust, even though I don't have answers and I might not ever have them, I'm going to trust anyway. Certainty can make our faith rigid. When we have all the answers, that's it. We don't study it anymore. We don't wrestle with a greater possibility. If we're certain, then that's the end of the story. Certainty stops us in our spiritual growth. But doubt keeps us open. Doubt stretches us. Doubt moves us. Doubt will allow us to say, okay, I don't know that I can do this. I know it's not possible for me, but I trust you, so I'm going to take these steps. My preaching professor in seminary told us over and over and over again, he said, throughout your ministry career, anytime that you feel absolutely right, anytime you are certain of what the answer is, anytime you know in your bones so factually true that you would go and die on that hill for that reason, that's when you're most likely to be wrong. Certainty is a faith killer. Doubt, however, catalyzes our faith growth. Faith and doubt actually work together, but fear can shut them down. So let's talk about the relationship among faith, doubt, and fear. Doubt says, can I trust this? Which leads to our faith stretching. Can I trust this? I don't know, but I'm going to try. I feel like this is what God wants me to do. I don't know if I can do it, but I'll try. I will show up and do the best I can. Life is requiring this of me. I don't think I'm capable of it. This is going to put me under, but I have to do it. I think I can, by the grace of God. Doubt enables and empowers our faith. Fear, on the other hand, says, I'm not safe, I can't do this, I'm out. And that is what pulled Peter under. Peter's doubt didn't see him. He went out despite his doubt. His fear did. His doubt led him to ask Jesus the question that got him out of the boat to begin with. His doubt led him to tentatively take those first few steps. And yet the moment he cried out, Lord, save me, Jesus immediately reached into the water and had him. He didn't say, come back when your faith is stronger. We'll try it again. He just reached for him. Because that's who Jesus is. He reaches out to us. It's up to us whether or not we're going to take that hand, but it's always there for us. So where does that leave us? Most of us are not standing on a storm-tossed boat, contemplating whether we should take a step out of it and walk toward Jesus. But we are standing on the edge, probably, of a decision we have to make, or a struggle that's in front of us. Or maybe we're in a season where faith and doubt and fear are colliding for us. Maybe you feel like I did standing at that door of that high school classroom, wondering if you have what it takes to do what's next. Or maybe life has thrown something at you without your consent or choice or opinion in the matter and saying, here you go, now you've got to figure this out. Maybe you feel like Peter, bold enough to step out, but afraid that you're sinking. Jesus isn't afraid of our doubts. He's not waiting for our certainty, because once we have certainty, we don't need Jesus, right? We've got it all figured out. But Jesus reaches to us, hoping that we will take his hand. Perhaps a good question to ask yourself when you're in the thick of something big is, am I doubting in a way that will empower my growth? Or am I fearing in a way that will hold me back? Am I doubting in a way that will help my growth? Or am I fearing in a way that will hold me back. Either way, get out of the boat. Just do it. Not because you have all the answers, not because you've eliminated your doubts, but because faith was never about certainty. It was about, and always will be about, trust. If God calls you to it, God will bring you through it. Peter didn't step on the water because he was sure it would work. I don't think he was sure. I think he was anything but sure. I think he was mad. I think he was hurt. And I think he was wanting to test Jesus, but at his heart, I think he trusted him. He stepped out because he trusted him. Maybe Jesus is calling you to step into something new, a new opportunity, a new season of life, a new challenge that stretches you. Or maybe Jesus is calling you to step toward healing something in you that's been hurting. Maybe he is leading you to let go of an old wound, or to reconcile a broken relationship, or to trust again after disappointment. Maybe Jesus is calling you to step into the unknown, to follow without knowing where the path will lead, to say yes even before you feel ready. And maybe, like Peter, you're already in the water. Maybe you've already taken the step, but now the wind is howling, the waves are high, the fear is whispering, you're not going to make it. Keep your eyes on Jesus. And if that's where you are, remember this. Jesus won't let you sink. He isn't waiting for you to have certainty. He's already reaching out to you. Faith doesn't mean never having doubt. Faith means stepping forward anyway. Faith doesn't mean never feeling fear. Faith means not letting fear have the last word. Faith doesn't mean certainty. Faith means trusting the one who is already stretching out to you. So get out of the boat. Just get out of the boat. Even if your voice shakes and your hands tremble and you feel unsure, take the step, because Jesus is already there waiting for you. Picture Peter standing on the edge of the boat. The wind is fierce, the waves are falling and pitching beneath him, and his heart was pounding in his grip. Can you imagine the white knuckle grip he had on the side of that boat? And Jesus is still calling, come to me, come to me. What if I sink? What if I make a fool of myself? All right, let's talk about failure for a minute. So what if you do? Really, so what if you do? During the pandemic, I was on a Zoom call with some folks, kind of different people with different backgrounds from different places. And one of the guys on there was a research scientist. And he said, I have the technology that can transform health in our country. I know how we can be better about understanding our own health and receiving health care, and I know I can transform the healthcare industry, but I'm afraid I will fail. At that point, I unmuted myself and I said, listen, if I tried to transform the healthcare in this country and I failed, I would print out a t-shirt and tell everybody about it. When you take a swing that big, that's amazing. And if you fail, well, okay, so you failed. But that is really, really something. Not many people are willing to do that or to try that. If I were Peter, I'd have a t-shirt printed that said, I sank walking across the river. But isn't that the thing? We don't remember that Peter failed. We remember that he tried. As the older I get, the more respect I have for people's failures. Man, when you take a big swing at something and you fail, not many people are willing to get out there and take a big swing. It's pretty amazing. So let's just forget about failing, can we? If you fail, you fail, but guess what? You might get a few steps on that water first. So get out of the boat, not because you have the answers, not because you feel ready, not because there's no doubt in you, but because Jesus is there waiting for you and calling you. That's enough. Thanks be to God.